Tip-to-tip articulation is the generally preferred way for people to articulate. Of all the fundamentals, you see the most amount of variation in individual preferences in articulation. The logic behind tip-to-tip articulation is you're going to use the most sensitive part of your tongue, which is the tip, to the most sensitive part of the reed, which is the tip. And by doing so, you should have a very clean articulation. Also, when you do this, you shouldn't take your tongue very far back after every articulation, right? It sort of hugs the reed at all times without actually touching the reed. Now, like I said, certain players preferred different things. For example, I was taught tip-to-tip articulation, which I do, but I was taught that it had to be very, very, very tight. The window had to be very tight. Like the specific spot had to be the same the entire time. And that just hasn't worked out for me over many years. So like I get enough contact with my tongue to the reed just to create separation, and that I'm not really worried about anything else other than that. I've known oboe players or other clarinet players that prefer tonguing to the left side of the reed or the right side of the reed. I mean, you're going to have to experiment with this, but the tip-to-tip articulation generally works for most people. Let me say this: if you've tried tip-to-tip and it doesn't work for you, and you've tried it for a long time and you can do it, and it still doesn't feel comfortable for you, there is something called anchor tonguing, which is when you anchor the tip of your tongue against your bottom teeth like that, and then you tongue with the middle part of your tongue. Many, many great clarinet players have done this. It's just usually not common for most people. Now, how do you actually know if you're tonguing tip to tip, right? The exercise I'm going to do is I'm just going to tongue a bunch of repeated notes, and at the last repetition, I'm going to keep my tongue on the reed, right, to see where I'm actually tonguing. If you do that, and you find yourself sort of very, very off the reed, then there's room to be made. Again, I'm going to emphasize this again. As long as you're getting enough contact with the reed, and you're not changing your voicing position or moving your jaw, it's probably going to be okay. Again, don't stress over, it has to be right here to right there. That's usually not worth worrying about.